Did you know that most relationship breakups can be saved? In fact, the reason why so many women end up heartbroken is often because of what they do the first few weeks after a breakup. You see, what gets most women in trouble isn't that they're mean, selfish, or demanding. No, after a breakup, most women try and coax their man back using methods that would be effective on another woman, but often prove disastrous on a man. Have you made some of these critical mistakes? Have you been overly emotional or demanding? Have you called him? Perhaps you've even begged him to come back to you, or driven by his home repeatedly, all the while asking yourself the haunting question, what did I do wrong? Then you spend all your time replaying in your mind, over and over again, what happened during your last conversation or encounter with him, looking for clues as to what might have led to your breakup. You ask yourself, if only I could understand why he left, I could fix it. And when you can't find anything you did wrong, your imagination begins to take control of your mind as you wonder, maybe he met someone else. Maybe he's got intimacy issues. Or maybe he never loved me at all. If this is what you've been going through, or you just want to prevent it from happening to you, this may be the most important video you'll ever watch, because the good news is that you can save your relationship and bring him back into your life. As you watch this entire video, in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the reasons why a man suddenly loses interest in having a relationship with you, even if he was previously very much into you, and how your natural tendencies as a woman often contribute to the breakup, and what you can do to avoid sabotaging your reconciliation efforts. I'll show you the number one mistake women make when trying to get their man back, and my step-by-step game plan, including techniques that have been used for centuries to rekindle relationships. The irresistible game plan is virtually guaranteed to soften your man's heart and create a deeper bond within the two of you that paves the way to reestablishing your relationship. I'll even reveal to you my word-for-word script, 9 incredibly powerful words you can say to your man that will make him realize that he simply can't bear to lose you. But I offer a warning that I've seen too many women ignore. Don't wait until your man has moved on in his life without you and shut you out of his heart forever. You must strike while the iron's hot. When you follow my game plan exactly as prescribed, it is highly likely that he'll come running back to you. Hi, my name is Bob Grant, and I'm a licensed counselor with offices in Marietta, Georgia. I'm also the author of the best-selling program, The Woman Men Adore and Never Want to Leave. For the past 20 years, the majority of my clients have been women, and one of the top relationship problems they've come to see me for is this. The man in their life has lost interest in them, and they want to know how to get him back. Luckily, I have an effective remedy based not only on real-life feedback from thousands of my real-life female clients, but also from time-tested strategies and techniques that I've developed over the years, which, when properly implemented, are most difficult for a man to resist. But before I reveal the remedy, or the absolute best game plan to bring back your man, I'm going to ask you to take part in a fun and eye-opening 7-second pop quiz. If a man with whom you recently had a good relationship suddenly loses interest in you, and you sense that he's beginning to pull away from you, which of these frequently used strategies do you think is the best thing you could do to get him back? Should you A. Write him a letter expressing your heartfelt emotions, reminding him of all the good times you've had together, what you think went wrong in your relationship, ways to make your relationship better, etc. B. Call him on the phone, tell him how you feel, and get him to open up and talk about his feelings. C. Give him gifts and shower him with sweetness and love so he'll realize what he's missing by not having you in his life. D. Call him and say, no one will ever love you as much as I do. I must confess to you that if you checked any one of them, then I'm afraid that your answer is wrong. The correct answer is none of them. That's right, none of the above strategies work, at least not permanently. I realize I tricked you a bit, but I had to make you see the point. In the 20 years I've spent working with clients, I've found that most women do not have a clue as to how to effectively win back a man who has lost interest in them. They almost always go about it the wrong way. By far the most common mistake a woman makes when trying to get a man back is this. She uses strategies that would work on women, but not on men. Let me explain. Men respond to things differently than women, and they're not hardwired to understand feelings the way women are. That's why talking about your feelings and getting him to talk about his feelings rarely works. Writing him a letter is also a waste of time because words do not have the same effect on a man that they have on a woman. no matter how wonderful your words are and how beautiful the sentiments behind those words. Most women think that words are going to tug at a man's heartstrings and make him fall to his knees, begging for the woman to take him back. Ladies, let me be blunt. They don't. Words are for women. While it might make you feel good that you've written the most inspiring letter in the world, your letter won't have much of an impact on a man, period. Giving him gifts and showering him with sweetness and love seldom work either, because men don't flow as well in the emotional realm as women do. You simply cannot flood a man's heart with emotions to win him back the way you can a woman's. Let me tell you about one woman who learned this the hard way. Heather started dating a guy named Greg, who she didn't know was dating 2 other women besides her. One day, Greg told her up front about the other women, and Heather was shocked and dismayed because she had been dating him exclusively and had thought the exclusivity was mutual. Not knowing what else to do, she tearfully asked him what was wrong. She thought sharing her feelings would appeal to his heart. What it actually did was make him feel overwhelmed. In fact, 2 days later, he told her he wasn't ready to date her exclusively. By the end of the week, he had called again to tell her that he didn't want to see her anymore. This is what happens when you don't understand how to use your emotions to your advantage. I showed Heather the game plan, and she immediately set it into motion. For 4 weeks, nothing happened. Greg didn't even call her, and that made her think he probably just wanted to play the field and didn't want to be tied down to one woman. On the 5th week, he called and said, "I've been thinking about you." He said he wanted to know how she was doing and just wanted to talk, without particularly wanting to get back with her. Little did Greg know that the game plan had prepared Heather for this very call, and she knew exactly what to say to Greg and how to say it. Within a month of working the magic of the plan, they went on a date. Soon thereafter, Greg stopped seeing the other 2 women and decided to have a relationship with Heather exclusively. Heather had captured his heart, and he didn't know what hit him. You see, what I shared with Heather wasn't just a simple how-to plan. Those don't always work because they fail to address the root cause of why your man left you or lost interest in the first place. So even if you do manage to get your man back using one of the common ploys, it will be temporary at best because the cause of your breakup will remain unresolved. What I shared with Heather was not only how to get him back, but how to keep him devoted forever. You can only have this kind of magical effect on a man if you are willing to give up trying to get him to explain all of his feelings to you. Once you get back together with him, then you can have those discussions, but until then you must understand that men are not usually willing to open up about their feelings long enough for you to figure out what it was that caused them to leave. And oftentimes they may not even be aware of the underlying reasons why they habitually try to escape from relationships that are going well. When women make educated guesses as to what caused their man to break up with them, more often than not they guess wrong. And so they waste all their time trying to fix the wrong thing and never get anywhere. So what's a woman to do? I'll get to that in a moment, but first, here's what you should not do. Warning: beware of untrained relationship coaches and relationship resources that dispense advice of dubious value. There are several books, not to mention dozens of articles in women's magazines about how to get your man back or how to rekindle an old romance. There are even more self-proclaimed relationship coaches who claim they can help you with your relationship problems. Whatever you do, don't fall for the following. Number 1, relationship books that are not gender-specific. Books that give generic advice for both men and women seeking to rekindle relationships with their ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend are seldom effective because, as I've pointed out, what works on women does not work well on men and vice versa. Most available resources tend to be tilted in favor of helping men get their women back. Number 2, magazine articles or relationship advice based on trickery and artifice. Far too many books, magazine articles, and relationship advisors show you how to trick a man into submission by using all sorts of deception. And of course, the old standby, sex. In my opinion, these do more harm than good. Trickery could work in the short term, and it may help you get your man back temporarily, but it won't enable you to sustain the relationship. You're likely to lose your man again down the line because the device used to get him back was based on shallow motivations instead of a deep understanding of men. 3, advice given by untrained or inexperienced relationship coaches. There's been a recent proliferation of relationship coaches who, having completed a mere 12 to 48 hours of life coach training, masquerade as relationship experts. Some have no training and simply call themselves experts. When you take advice from such untrained people who resort to guesswork instead of extensive real-life experience, you run the risk of making critical mistakes that could jeopardize your chances of ever getting your man back. So now that you know what not to do, what should you do? My clinical counseling practice has enabled me to develop powerful strategies for helping couples rekindle relationships, including a step-by-step game plan to help women get their man back. I truly want to share this game plan with more than just the clients who are able to travel to my office in Georgia to sit down with me face-to-face. I also want to help those who can't afford my counseling services. So I devised a way that will enable you to gain immediate access to my game plan and let you benefit from my experience without you having to shell out hundreds of dollars in hourly fees and without leaving the comfort of your own home or office. For the first time, I've spilled my secrets in my proven program titled How Do I Get Him Back? Unlike other relationship resources that teach you the obvious ploys of rekindling a man's interest temporarily through the promise of sex or other enticements, my program shows you how to understand your man deeply so that you can sustain your relationship after he does come back to you. In fact, when you get How Do I Get Him Back, I'll share with you how to tap into a man's pain, which holds the secret to reaching his heart. The 9 words you can say to your man that will make him realize he simply can't bear to lose you. This last-ditch tactic is based on one of the most powerful psychological motivators in the world. When do your acts of kindness, empathy, generosity, graciousness, and taking pain away come across to a man as being controlling, instead of being perceived as praiseworthy intentions? How to get what you really want in a man, a simple exercise that takes all the guesswork out of determining if the man you want back is good for you, or worth all the trouble to get him back. How to use your feminine attributes to make yourself a safe person in whom he can confide his fears and inner pain so that you can finally discover the real reason he escapes from relationships and ultimately make him want to get back with you. Why a man's imagination is the best thing you have going for you and how to use it to make him crave to be with you again. How to identify signals in a man's voice that tell you his guard is down. He's willing to let you get closer to him, and it's the best time to talk about the previous issues in your relationship. What if he doesn't call you? How to initiate contact with a man in a demure and classy way without appearing too forward or desperate, or running the risk of being regarded as a stalker. How to affect a man on an emotional level to maximize the chances of rekindling your relationship with him. What you must do in order to get the attention of your ex, and how to determine what will cause him to want to be with you again. How to show a man you care about him without coming across as being too needy or emotionally high maintenance, which could backfire on you and cause your man to back off. Also, how to tell when a man has reached the threshold of giving and is overwhelmed by your needs that he feels the need to escape. How to know if your man has unresolved issues which persist even when you're doing everything right in a relationship, and how to know if those issues can be resolved or if you need to give him up as a lost cause. Warning, your acts of kindness and generosity may be giving him the impression that you're a woman with low self-esteem or one who's trying too hard to please him. How to know when you're giving too much. The top 3 reasons why a man chooses to end a relationship with a woman. The sooner you understand these reasons, the sooner you can get him back and prevent the same mistakes from happening again. How to influence and shape your man's opinion of you, and to get him to see you as being more beautiful and more valuable, not someone who can be taken for granted. The art of perfect timing. How to create the perfect environment and time to give your man relationship-enhancing advice or insights at the precise moment he is ready to hear it, so as not to drive him further away. Why insisting on a commitment from a man is one of the best things you can do for him, whether he thinks it's a good idea or not. How to differentiate between the insight problems and motivation problems involved in your breakup, and how to deal with each type correctly. How to avoid putting your man on the defensive with your well-meaning opinions. How to understand what's really going on inside a man's heart in order to make him warm up to the idea of reconciling with you. This is something he might not even be aware of, or he's trying to avoid. What causes women to have blind spots and make them clueless as to what men want and what drives men away? How to avoid continually implementing strategies just because they're familiar to you in favor of implementing the most effective plan for getting him back. How to avoid the knee-jerk actions that your fears compel you to do, even though those actions make perfect sense, because they're usually the least effective ways of getting your man back. How to know how much you should be giving to your man. Too little and he won't know how much you care about him. Too much and he's going to feel like you're competing with him. How to get your man back by tapping to the very thing that caused him to date you in the first place, and much more. I've always found it quite amazing to observe how dramatically a woman's life changes when she has the enduring devotion of the man she wants. In this regard, I'd like to ask you this. How would the quality of your life change when you get your man back? How overjoyed would you be when you realize that you have the power to keep your man devoted to you forever? What price can you put on not wasting any more time trying ineffective ways to get your man back, but instead having a step-by-step game plan to effortlessly magnetize him back into your life, even if there are other women vying for his attention? What is the value of never feeling helpless, hurt, or broken-hearted if your man suddenly loses interest, but instead having the know-how to reignite the spark in his heart, creating a deeper bond with him and reestablishing a stronger and enduring relationship? How delighted would you feel when you realize that you never have to let a man slip through your fingers again, or watch him walk out of your life without being able to do anything about it? Clearly, most women regard the ability to win back a man's heart as a priceless skill, one that's worth a small fortune and life-changing benefits, not only for themselves, but also the female friends and relatives they could potentially help once they've learned the game plan. So what's it worth to you? $3,000? $2,000? $1,000? Would you believe I told you that How Do I Get Him Back won't even cost you $100? Your investment in getting your man back and keeping him devoted to you today for good is only $47. That's less than the price of a nice pair of shoes. Yes, your investment in this must-have program is just $47. That's less than half of the $375 that I charge for a 45-minute counseling session in which I could cover only a tiny part of what my program contains. You would have to book several counseling sessions with me and pay hundreds of dollars in hourly fees to get all the eye-opening content you'll find in How Do I Get Him Back. What's more, when you consider that my step-by-step game plan for getting your man back is not available anywhere, isn't it clear that you need to own this indispensable program now? Here's what one woman wrote to me. Wow, Bob, your program, How Do I Get Him Back, really opened my eyes to the truth about men. I used to think all men generally have a love 'em and leave 'em attitude when it comes to dating women, and that there was nothing I could do to make a man faithful to me. This program revealed an important concept about how to make a man regard me as someone of great value, someone who's worth devoting his singular attention to. I am forever grateful for this priceless information, which I know will serve me for life. I've been sharing what I've learned from it with girlfriends and female members of my family who wanted to get their boyfriends back. I feel like a female Dr. Phil dispensing expert advice to women. This program is worth its weight in gold. Kristen Bennett, Los Angeles, California. Although the game plan I reveal on How Do I Get Him Back is simple enough for anyone to implement on their own, I also know that sometimes women want to discuss their specific situation or concerns with an expert relationship therapist one-on-one. Therefore, when you take How Do I Get Him Back for a risk-free trial, I will give you a free 15-minute phone consultation with me, Bob Grant, a licensed professional counselor and nationally recognized expert on relationships. Now, please understand that I can only guarantee you'll get the free bonus for a few more weeks. I wish I could clone myself so I could provide a 15-minute personal coaching session to every woman who needs it. But I'm afraid I have a very busy consulting practice, and I can only accommodate a few women. Therefore, I have to limit this offer strictly to those who take me up on this offer. And just to make sure you have the support you need, I'll even include a bonus option of a free 30-day trial to the Woman Men Adore Club, where I will work with you and a select group of other smart and successful women and provide you with answers to your most urgent questions. I created this unique club because I have found that most women have some common questions when implementing this plan and want answers to their questions immediately. Now, this club is optional, but I wanted you to know that I'm here to support and help you unleash the sensual side of you that will awaken the passion in the man you love so that he'll begin to realize what a terrible mistake it would be to leave you. In addition, here's my zero-risk, ironclad, 100% this is going to work or you get your money-back guarantee. I am so confident that you'll be absolutely thrilled with the step-by-step game plan I reveal on How Do I Get Him Back, that you only have one regret, and that is not having this valuable resource years ago. You'll realize that you could have used this plan in all your relationship with guys over the years, all the way back to your high school days when you started having relationship challenges with boys. How many guys did you let slip through your fingers, and how many days have you spent crying because a guy left you and you didn't know how to get him back? When you get your hands on How Do I Get Him Back, you'll feel secure knowing that you finally have the secret to having a successful relationship with a man. But don't take my word for it. Try the step-by-step game plan and put it to the test. All I ask is that you implement the plan and stick to it even if you don't see anything happening at first. When you start seeing results, continue implementing it so that you can keep your man for good. Why do I offer such a generous guarantee? Because I know that there are some men this won't work on. Those that are chronic cheaters or who view women as nothing more than a playful distraction. For that type of man, you may decide that you don't want him back after all. But I want you to have the choice of whether to keep him or not. If you follow the plan exactly and it doesn't do for you what I promised, simply send me an email within 8 weeks of your purchase and I'll refund your entire purchase price. No questions asked. Now, the only requirement is that you give it a fair try. Don't just skim over how do I get him back without implementing these strategies. You owe it to yourself to see how amazing this plan is when it is followed to the letter. Since you've listened this far, I know you're obviously interested in getting your man back, or maybe helping a girlfriend bring her man back. I also know that in your life, you and your girlfriends have probably known a lot of men who suddenly leave a relationship that seems to be going quite well. And you've probably devised all kinds of ploys to get back your men, and have had little or no success. If you're one of the lucky women who's never had the experience of suddenly being dumped by a man with whom you were having what you thought was a good relationship, I can tell you this. Sometime in your dating life, you will experience it. Chances are you'll experience it more than once, and so will your girlfriends. That's because it's a relationship pattern that spontaneously shows up simply because men are true to their male nature, and this often comes into conflict with women who are just being true to their female nature. Oftentimes, neither the man or the woman is singularly at fault. It's just the eternal battle of the sexes at work. It's the wise woman who learns how to harmonize, not compromise with the nature of men, and eventually triumphs and gets what she wants out of her relationship with the man. Right now, you have a choice to make. You could either get instant access to how do I get him back and implement this step-by-step game plan that would not only bring your man back but also keep him devoted to you for good. Or you could remain the same woman with the same relationship challenges you have today, never knowing how much better your life could be if you just learn how to get back your man. You have everything to gain when you take me up on my 100% risk-free offer today. And you'll have so much more to lose if you don't take advantage of this now. You could lose your man forever. If you're willing to take the chance on losing your man forever by trying ineffective strategies, then I hope he comes back to you. But if you want my help and my proven plan for bringing him back, just click on the Add to Cart button below and let me help you save your relationship.
Click the link right below this video to get started. And remember, if you decide at any point within the 60 days that this isn't right for you, I'll send you a full refund, no problem. You'll just have my sincere thanks for at least giving it a try. So click the link below, and I'll see you on the other side.